to my channel. My name is Jennifer. In this video, I'll be telling you 10 things you shouldn't do after a dental extraction. Now, I've heard people say things like, I had a tooth extraction and afterwards I was feeling so much pain, the place wasn't healing properly and all that. So in this video, I'll be telling you things that you shouldn't do in order to allow that socket heal properly. The first thing you shouldn't do is spitting out. After an extraction is done, there's going to be blood in your mouth because your tooth was taken out from where it used to be, so it's going to trigger bleeding, right? So the whole bleeding is going to make you want to keep spitting out, but don't do that, because if you keep spitting out, the whole process of doing that is going to apply subtle pressure on that extraction socket and trigger more bleeding, and that is something that we do not want at all. So after an extraction is done, please swallow your saliva. Number 2, do not put your tongue in the extraction socket. This is because after an extraction is done, we expect that place to heal, right? And for healing to take place, there is something known as blood clot that forms inside that socket. Putting your tongue there could dislodge that blood clot and trigger bleeding, and this also can affect the healing process. The third thing you shouldn't do is to put your finger inside the extraction socket. This is because other than dislodging the blood clots, you could also introduce microorganisms, because our fingers contain a number of microorganisms, and these microorganisms can affect the healing process if you don't come down with an outright infection. The fourth thing you shouldn't do is sucking on the socket. Please don't suck on the socket for any reason whatsoever. If you do that, you're still going to dislodge that blood clot and it would impede the healing process of that extraction socket. The fifth thing is avoid using straws for the meantime, for as long as that place is sore. Avoid using straws, because when you're using a straw, you're going to be applying a negative pressure, and that negative pressure can also cause dislodgement of the blood clot that has already formed inside the socket, and this too can affect the healing process. The sixth thing you shouldn't do is eating crunchy diet. Because the place is still sore and tender, eating things that are crunchy are not really advisable, because other than the fact that you're going to feel pain, it can also cause more injury in that area. Seventh thing you shouldn't do is eating sticky meals, because when you have an extraction done, those sticky diets can get stuck inside the hole, especially within the first few days. And when they get there, they can form a noodles for microorganisms, and these microorganisms can cause an infection, which would ultimately impede the healing of that socket. The thing you should avoid doing is taking alcohol, because alcohol is like a desiccant, meaning that it causes the drying out of a place or a surface. And when you take alcohol before the extraction socket heals, you can come down with something known as dry socket, which is a very, very painful condition. After an extraction, avoid mouthwashes for a number of reasons. One, which is that most mouthwashes contain alcohol, and as I said earlier, alcohol is a desiccant, and it can also impede the healing of that place and make you come down with pain. The ninth thing you shouldn't do is smoking. Please do not smoke after a dental extraction. Other than the fact that the whole process of trying to drag in the smoke can dislodge the blood clots, cause bleeding, and impede the healing process. Depending on what you smoke as well, some of the constituents of these things can affect the blood flow to that area, and this can also impede healing and make you more susceptible to coming down with dry sockets, which is a very, very painful condition. Finally, after an extraction is done, avoid anything stressful, anything that stresses you out. Running, dancing, jumping, screaming, whatever it is, avoid anything stressful for the time being. Finally, bonus tips. Some of the things you can do to help or speed up the healing process is to do your warm saline mouth rinse for 1 week, 6 to 8 times in a day. Take the drugs that have been written for you, take them religiously, and remember to come back 1 week after the extraction so that the place can be examined, and if there is anything not going on well, the dentist can take it up immediately as soon as possible. If for any reason you get back home after an extraction and you start to bleed, get a clean gauze or a clean white handkerchief, make it into a knot and bite on it. If this bleeding continues, please come back to the hospital. All the things I mentioned, as simple as they sound, are very, very important. Not doing them or not taking them seriously can affect the healing process of that extraction socket, and it can come down with pain and other complications. Thank you very much. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, remember to share with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. See you guys in my next video. Bye.